Welcome back. It is time for What's Hot, where we talk about the stories that have us all talking.
We are joined by Tracy Johnson of Tempo Milwaukee, plus Jeff Wagner is back. All right, topic number one. America is mourning the loss of a true American hero. Neil Armstrong, the first man on the moon, passed away this weekend at the age of 82. With his passing, the conversation has come up again about the United States reconsidering the space program. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think it's about time. I mean, look, when Neil Armstrong walked on the moon, if you were of a certain age, you remember where you were when you saw that. And I was about 10 years old or so at the time. I can vividly remember it. Now, we had the space race back in the 60s. It was important for national security, I think, to win the space race. But, okay, those concerns might not be there. But when you look at all the developments, the technology that has come out of space, I mean, of course we have to go back there. We wouldn't have computers, we wouldn't have cell phones, at least in the form we have them now, if it weren't for space.
Well, I think that at some point we need to reconsider going back to space. I don't think that in the wake of Neil Armstrong's death is the time or place to be having this conversation, though. Everywhere you read, everything you see about Neil Armstrong, he was an unassuming, humble guy. Would he really want his death memorialized in this way? I don't think so.
Well, Neil Armstrong, for as humble and unassuming as he was a fervent, outspoken man about the need to keep the space program alive and vibrant. I watched a piece that 60 Minutes did over the weekend, and they interviewed him in a story where the news peg was that there were plans to get people back on the Mars by 2018. I'm sorry, back on the moon by 2018, and then on to Mars. It's 2012. We are nowhere near that.
Well, and what's so interesting, too, about that, Steve, is there have been 12 people that have walked on the surface of the moon from 1969 to 1972, and nobody since then. Now, I mean, I don't know whether it's go back to the moon. I don't know whether it's start planning, can you send, people to Mars or whatever. But I do think that we have to do it. Now, maybe instead of it being all government financed, maybe you can work out some public-private partnerships and all, because there is so much commercial value to this too, but we can't bail in space.
Well, he was actually a vocal advocate against some of those private partnerships like the SpaceX and things like that. I just think reality check here. The government, we can't afford it as a country, but I completely agree with you. It's where we need to go for technology. We need to figure out a different way to do it, but I don't think in the wake of his death, this is when we need to be talking about it.
All right, guys, thanks so much. We're going to move on to the